Hi, and welcome to School Talk. My name is Gloria Rockhold. I'm Community Engagement Manager for Albemarle County Public Schools. The Office of Community Engagement builds bridges of communication between families, schools, and the community so that working together, we support our children in learning. So every show, we have different guests who share with us the different things that they do. Today we have with us a dear friend, Frankie Dovel-Morris, who has been working with the schools for quite some time. And so I want to welcome you, Frankie. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, thank you for having me. It's
So
good to be here.
Tell us a little bit about your history with Albemarle County Schools.
Well, I've been with the schools for 7 years. In 5 of those years, I've worked with the International and ESOL office. And for 2 years, I worked with adult education.
Good. So you love your job.
I really do. I enjoy it.
I know. That's why I love working with you, Frankie, because I just know you really love your job. So tell me a fun fact about Frankie that most people don't know. Just something like that most people would say, like, is that really Frankie?
Well, I was actually born here in Charlottesville, and I went to school at Longwood College, and when I finished, I had my diploma, and I went to Barcelona, Spain, and knocked on the doors of language schools and said, I'm a teacher, give me a job, and they did. So I stayed in Spain for about 3 years.
Great.
It was great for my Spanish.
It's great for your Spanish, and you speak Spanish super well.
Oh, thank you.
So, Frankie, what I wanted to talk about today is the registration process of our children in the county. I know that a lot of first-time parents are like wondering, it's like, what do I need to do, and how do I need to go through the process? And so, first of all, it's like, if I have a young child, it's like, how do I know what school to go to even begin the process?
Well, if you are wondering which school your child should attend, really you should go to your neighborhood school and give them your address. And they have a system that they will check the address and identify for you which school the child should attend, depending on the district lines. And then you would go directly to that school and take a proof of residency and birth certificate of your child, the vaccination records, and the records of a physical exam. And you can register your child for school.
So what would be an example of a proof of residency, for example?
A proof of residency would be a rental agreement. Actually, they're going to ask you for 2 proofs. So it will be a rental agreement or a tax receipt if you own your property, or mortgage or deed, and a second bill within a date of the last 30 days.
Oh, I see. So, and then what else? The vaccination.
The vaccination records are required for all kindergartners, so that will be a part of the process, but you don't have to present that each year, just at the beginning when they start school in kindergarten.
And they also need a physical.
A physical exam dated within the last year of the time that school starts.
Oh, so there are a lot of things that we need to put together in order to get this process rolling, huh?
Yeah.
So for the parents that are just starting out, so they go and register, and then what happens? So first of all, why am I registering them so far? I mean, the school doesn't start till August, and now we're in April. I mean, why am I doing that?
We actually started registering upcoming kindergartens or rising kindergartners at the end of March.
Wow.
And we do that because then that gives schools the time to plan for their staffing, so they'll know how many kindergarten teachers they need to have. And we also have activities for those students who will be new to our schools. So they have kinder orientations and kinder camp.
Oh, really? So what is that like? So kinder orientation is one thing and kinder camp is another?
Kinder orientation, the parents come with the children and they do a tour of the school, they get to meet the teachers. And kinder camp, they actually come and spend 3 mornings at the school. This is during the summertime.
So during the orientation, do the children get to ride a school bus?
Oh, they have a school bus there, and it's really wonderful to see these children get so excited about getting on a school bus. So today they had a kinder orientation at Agnerhurt, and the school bus was there, and the children were practicing getting on and off the bus.
Oh, so that sounds like fun, huh?
It was fun.
So I'm sure that there are a lot of different things to prepare a child to get ready to kindergarten. So what are some of the basic things that a child needs to know in order to succeed in kindergarten? For example, like be able to be potty trained, be able to follow instructions. I know that there must be a lot of things, but what do you think are the most crucial things that the children needs to know?
Wow, it's so interesting to see these children, especially those who have not been in a preschool, go to school the first time, because there is sometimes some separation anxiety. So I think maybe preparing the child that they are going to be in school all day, and even as having parents volunteer in the school, I think is helpful at first. So
Well, that
it's a
sounds like
good
fun.
transition.
So as a parent of so what does a parent need to do in order to volunteer in the school? That's a great idea.
Oh, it's really a wonderful program. They will check with the classroom teacher and find out when would be a good time and what kind of activities they can assist with, and then it really becomes their neighborhood school and their school. And I would also encourage all parents to participate in the parent organizations.
Is that hard to do, the parent organizations?
No.
What do you need to do? Just show up for a meeting? Or
Well,
who knows when they're meeting?
Oh, they will get lots of notifications in the backpacks of the children. Those will go home on a regular basis. So they try to get the word out to everyone for all school activities.
So I always, I think that it's great to have like a kindergarten orientation. So is there a parent orientation for kindergarten parents? Because I think that there's like this inherent expectation of the child, of the parents of the children who go to school. It's like, the parents need to check the backpacks, they need to help them with the homework. I mean, there are all these things that if a parent doesn't know these things, or maybe they might have gone to school in a different country, or it's like, is there an avenue whereby the schools are actually teaching the parents on what is expected?
Well, today, for example, at Agner Hart, all of the parents came with their children, and they had a program, and while the children went off independently to meet the teachers and tour the school, the parents then had their own orientation, which was great. It gave them ideas about who everyone was in the school, how the school functioned, and how they could be volunteers. So that worked out really well.
That's nice. What school was it that you were in?
Agner Hart.
Agner Hart. That's a wonderful school.
Yeah.
I love that school. So what I'd like to encourage everyone is to grab your pencils and pens out there, because what we're going to do is we're going to be showing the phone numbers that you need to write down to go to the health department, for example, to get vaccinations. So here we have the health department address, which is on Rose Hill Drive, and is that the vaccination clinic number that's up there? So what do? They just call and say, I need a vaccination? Make an appointment, or what is it that they need to do?
Actually, the vaccination clinic, which is the number that's up there, they have open hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So they are open from 9 till noon, and they close and open again at 1 until 4. And if you go during that time on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you don't need an appointment. They will attend to you in the order that you arrive there.
And then they're going to give you whatever paperwork the school needs, right?
They are, the vaccination clinic is so aware of everything that the children need to get into school, so they do that.
Great, that's a great idea. What's in the next slide? I think we have your phone number that you work in the International ESOL office, and then you have the health department. Is that where the children can have a physical?
They can get their physical exams done at the health department, which is located on Rose Hill Drive. That's 1138 Rose Hill Drive. And they would call that number to make an appointment.
Okay, and it's free, or how much does it cost?
It is a free clinic.
So, but it's not the free clinic. No, I don't think so. So, but the free clinic and the health department are all kind of in the same location.
They're housed in the same location. Right. The doors are right next to each other.
Right, and I think that the health department number is number 1. So that's the number that they need to do. Once they get to the building, I think that's where they need to go to the health department.
That's correct.
So it's easy then. It's not very hard to register your child for kindergarten. So we should do it as soon as possible. Why was it that we needed to do it as soon as possible?
Well, because they want to know what their numbers will be for the fall, so they know how many teachers they need to have in place for our kindergarten class.
Oh, I see. So that's an important thing to do.
It is important.
So tell us a little bit about your job. What else do you do?
My job is to register students who come to Albemarle County who speak a language other than English at home. So actually we have students register all year long. In the spring of the year we do try to get most of our kindergartners registered, identified and registered, but we have students coming all year, international students.
Just to give the community out there an idea, how many languages are represented in Albemarle County Public Schools? Do you have an idea?
I think that there are 54, around 54. So that's quite a large number.
So how do you communicate with a student that comes in that doesn't speak Spanish or French that I know you're fluent in? So how do you handle that situation?
Many of our students will come here, or who come through the International Rescue Committee. They will provide interpreters for us, and also they have a bank of interpreters, so if we need an interpreter, we will contract one through them.
Okay, so we make it easy for the families.
Oh yes, we try to put them at ease and know that they're going to, their needs are going to be met and that their children are going to be safe. And
I also know that you work at the what is it, the Welcome the newcomers.
Oh.
What is it called? Newcomers
The
class?
Newcomer Program.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that, because I think it's fascinating, because a lot of times you see, these people coming from all over the world, and next thing you know, they're in your classroom, and at the same time, they've never even heard English, so it's hard to assimilate quickly, and that's a great solution that you guys have.
So we have a program for our secondary students, for our high school students, that if they are recently arrived and some of them had interrupted schooling, so we put them in, they get to take intensive English language classes and also learn the language of math and the language of science in an intensive program here at K-Tech. And they are bused here from their home schools. So they come from Monticello and from Albemarle and spend part of the day here at K-Tech for that instruction.
Right.
And then are at their home schools for the other part of the day.
Oh, that's a wonderful program. How many students do you have there?
We have quite a few, actually. We have from Monticello, we have 8 students, and from Albemarle, we have 16.
Where are they from? Like, just to give us some ideas
Oh,
of
my goodness. There are from Central America and South America and from Afghanistan. So we have quite a blend of people.
That's a wonderful
also
job.
from Congo, yeah.
Congo, oh, that's interesting. I think that you have a wonderful job, Frankie.
I have a fun job.
You have a fun job, and you do such a great job, and I know all the students just love you. So I think that you're quite an asset to Albemarle County Schools, and I just want to thank you for being here today and sharing this information. And again, it's like the intention of this information is for all of the families that have rising kindergartners. So they should be 5 years old by, tell us again what they need to do.
They should be 5 years old by September 30th of this year.
Okay.
And they can register for kindergarten.
Okay, and then they need to do it as quickly as possible so that the schools can be prepared and that we'll be able to serve them. And we also need the parents to volunteer in our schools and be active participants in the educational process, which is basically what we're looking for, right? So that we can help them be successful.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, I want to thank you, Frankie, for coming.
Thank you.
And I hope you come again. Tell us what you're doing, and it's like let the community know what all the things that you do. It's like maybe you can talk to us about gardening next time. I hear you have quite a garden.
Maybe so.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Frankie.
Thank you.
Hi, and welcome to School Talk. At this point in the program, we have with us Allison Cooper, who is a senior at UVA, and she's graduating in May, and we've been so happy to be working with her all these years with different programs. I'd like to welcome Allison, and we'd like to call you Allie. Yes.
You can do that.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about what you're studying and how you got to the idea of what you're, it's like, so I know that when I knew you when you were a freshman and now you're graduating. It's like, did you come to the conclusion that what you ended up studying is what you want? It's like, I think that's a question a lot of freshman students have.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I'm a global development studies and Spanish major, and global development studies is my first major. And I chose that because 1, it's interdisciplinary, and 2, it also very much is a major for people who are interested in change and social justice. And while both of those are very lofty goals, I wanted to be part of a major that was thinking about those 2 ways of working in the world. And it's a major that really involves critical thinking and thinking about, what is our impact both within this country, outside of this country, what does global mean, what is development, are these good things for us to be doing, stuff like that. And I think those are really important questions, especially now. And then Spanish, to be honest, I had taken Spanish classes in college and realized last year, oh hey, I have 2 classes to graduate with a Spanish major, I might as well. So I tagged that on.
Oh, that's great. That's great, because I remember meeting you when you were a senior in Monticello High School. And your Spanish was always perfect. I was always like amazed. I'm like, are you Latina? Did you grow up in South America? I mean, how is it that you got to speak Spanish so well? Because that was always my question. It's like, no, she just said she's just taking classes and just studying hard. So what made your Spanish so good?
Well, I'd say first of all, I think I'm Latina in mi corazón.
Oh, nice.
Latina in my heart. But I mean, honestly, I learned Spanish through the school systems, and I was just very blessed to have great Spanish teachers. And additionally, I spent a summer in Spain doing an exchange program and speaking Spanish the entire time with my family there for a month. And my senior year of high school, I actually got addicted to a Mexican soap opera called Mañana es para siempre, which means tomorrow is forever. I still haven't finished it, so I don't know what happens at the end. But it was something that really helped with my speaking and understanding of Spanish.
So for those out there who might be interested in learning Spanish, that might be a suggestion. It's
Absolutely.
like start watching a Spanish soap opera. I can just see the Spanish soap operas are so dramatic. You know, it's just like they're a lot of fun.
Well, I know so many people who have learned English through watching TV and watching movies, and so it's absolutely a great way to learn a foreign language, at least conversationally.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. One of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is in the Office of Community Engagement, we go out in the community and always look for partners so that we can partner and create programs that will impact our students. And one of the things that we've been doing for the last 5 years in the Southwood neighborhood is provide tutors for students. So one day I was just thinking about how I grew up, and when I grew up, I had a very small class in my school, and all of my classmates, we would always get together after school to study. Or if we had an exam, we would always we'd always study together. And I felt that in this community, we didn't really find a lot of students, gravitating towards getting together and studying together. So I thought we should have a study opportunity, a study club, and we can get tutors in. And so anyway, that's the way it started. And so I think that as the years have progressed, our partnership with the Latino Student Alliance has really grown, and I feel like Allie in the last couple of years has really taken the role of being the liaison between the Latino Student Alliance and Albemarle County Public Schools in my office. So I know that we've been doing this for a while. Allie, can you tell us from your point of view, it's like how many students come from UVA on a weekly basis to tutor? It's like what is their experience? And just tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So we generally have about 7 or 8 tutors each day. Some days it's more than that, some days it's less. Often Tuesdays are kind of the slow days, but this semester it's been a pretty consistent 8 a day. And tutors come in and get paired with a student. Often, so what happens is we sit down in our room, which is the community center at Southwood, and then the students come to us after we've told Olga at the Boys and Girls Club how many tutors we have. And they come in and they kind of pick their tutor. So they're like, oh, I've worked with you before. I want to work with you now. And so it's like this cute little selection process. And then there's always the one tutor that's at the end and left out, and they feel like they're the person being picked last for the dodgeball team. But then next time they get picked first, so it's all fair. Yeah. And so it's a fun process. And then we ask the kids, do you have homework? And some kids will tell you no when they do, and so we're persistent and make sure that they tell us what their work is, and then we work with them on math, science, history, or social studies rather, English, all of that. And then if a student finishes, we'll often work with them on reading. So we'll read a book, and for some students, they'll have books in Spanish and in English, and that's kind of fun. So just the other day, I was reading with a girl who wanted me to read the Spanish while she read the English. And so she would read the English parts, then I read the Spanish. And it was a fun experience. Right. And I know we've had tutors that have been with this program since their first year. And I know one person, including myself, so 2 people, who we just had our last day on Thursday. And so that was kind of wow, we've been doing this for 4 years. And
it's a great experience because, you get to see these children grow up, and in many ways they get to see you grow up. It's when the first years come, it's like they have the first year look, and then all of a sudden 4 years later, it's like I think it's a wonderful experience because it bonds students with the UVA students in such a different way. And I just feel like that's by modeling what we hope they will be in such a consistent manner, I feel like it really helps our students succeed. So we have a little clip of a very short slideshow, just kind of giving the viewers out there just an idea of what a typical day in the Southwood Community Center tutoring program looks like. Wasn't that cute? Did everybody love those pictures? Those babies? I just love them. So that's the program, and I think that you know, we're going to continue doing it next year. I know that this is Allie's last year, so she has kindly replaced herself with 2 other people to help us with all of the things that we do with Latino Student Alliance, and we're always happy to partner with them. And one of the things that we did this spring was to take a group of families to the university during spring break. And throughout the years, we've always been talking about, the Latino students the Alliance group has always been talking about, what can we do with the families? How can we bring them to UVA? And, you know, it's always been kind of a challenge to bring people to UVA or to do a, you know, some kind of festival or festivity or fiesta at, in the neighborhood. So, you know, this year, I was thinking, you know, there's the spring break, and a lot of families go out and do very fun things for spring break, and at the same time, there are other families who just stay home during spring break. And in many of these situations, one of the family members basically takes a leave from work so that they can stay home with their children. So we decided to have an outing, like a field trip to UVA. And Allie and I got together, I think it was in December or November, December, and started talking about this and what can we do and how can we do it. And it was a lot of fun. I always love planning. Just love planning. It's kind of part of the process that makes the event just that much more special. But so we got families to sign up. At the end of the day, we had 150 family members and students sign up, at which point Allie and I were like, oh my goodness. It's like, what was that like, Allie? Tell me. It's like,
Well,
you and I were like, oh boy, what are we going to do?
pretty much. So a lot of families didn't sign up until the last minute. And so we had no idea, like a week before, we had no idea how many families were coming. And then Gloria texts me and says, so I just learned we had 150 people sign up. And I said, what? But so we met a couple days before and really thought about, okay, what are the things that we need to make sure we nail down if we have that many people coming? Like, how do we need to cover our bases?
Right.
And I think we did a really good job of figuring that out. And so we had a plan of action to deal with having so many people. And I think one of the things that was so helpful is that we didn't allow any kids to sign up without a guardian. And so everybody was being watched by their older family members, which was definitely helpful. And then we ended up only having about 70 people come, which was still an incredible number. But it was far more manageable, I would say.
It was good. So basically what we did that day was we brought them in and we took them to the Rotunda for our tour. And we had to split them up in like 2 or 3 groups, I think, because it was so many people. And then we did walk around the lawn, right? We had a presentation from UCare talking about the history of the university. We had lunch, and then we had a scavenger hunt. So that was a lot of fun. They had people running and going everywhere, and it was just a lot of fun. To me, the highlight was one of the parents, or several parents actually, commenting to me, this is such a beautiful place. You know, they kept just marveling about the beauty of the UVA grounds, and they were asking me, is it free to come here? It's like, can we come back? So I think that it was a really wonderful experience for our families, and I think that it really met the goals of, I think, the Latino Student Alliance and also our office, the Office of Community Engagement, which is like to engage families in the educational process and start having the higher education conversation. So, you know, it was really fun. And Allie, we're going to miss you next year. Maybe we should fly you back from Phoenix just for the spring break festivities or something, but it was fun. So we're hoping to get to have this again next spring. And so anyway, Allie, I just want to thank you for all your hard work. You have done a great job as being the liaison with Latino Student Alliance, and we're going to miss you. So
I'm going to miss you.
But it's nice that you're going to be off to better things and off to new things. So we're
not necessarily better.
Yes, that's true. That's true. New things, but we will be watching you attentively so we can applaud your successes. So thank you so much, Allie, for being with us, and thank you guys for joining us. And stay tuned for the next episode. And so we'll be joining you, I guess, once a week with something new to talk about with from Albemarle County Schools Office of Community Engagement. Thank you.